Welcome back. This is episode number 10 of this tutorial series on Raspberry Pi for complete beginners. You can find the series playlist link in the description. And let's get started. This tutorial is actually a challenge I'm going to give to you to make you practice with what we've seen before in the tutorial series. So first I will explain what you have to do and then I will do the solution step by step. So here is the challenge. You will need to power on the LED when the button is pressed. Okay, so as simple as that. If the button is pressed, the LED is powered on. If the button is not pressed, the LED is powered off. And you can see the result on that video. When I press the button, the LED is turned on. When I release the button, the LED is turned off. Alright, and now you can press pause on the video, try to do the challenge by yourself, and then watch the solution. And here is the solution to this first challenge, or what I also call activity. So I'm first going to do the solution with the code that we have seen previously, and then I'm going to give you two additional things that are very important. First is a way to improve the program and make it more efficient. And the second is, well, we're going to use a different way to write the program, and that we will use directly for the next activity of this course. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is to import stuff. So from gpiozero import. So we need to import the LED and the button because we're going to use both. So LED, maybe you have written this from gpiozero import like this, import button, and that is correct. Okay, it's going to import the LED and the button, but what we can also do is to add a comma. So I showed you that before. We can add a comma and just do button. Okay, so from library import functionality 1, comma, functionality 2, comma, etc. Great, so now I will initialize my LED, just like that. So LED, I put the GPIO number 17, and then button, I put button and the GPIO number 26. So first things first, we initialize the GPIO 17 and we initialize the GPIO 26. And then we want to detect, so when the button is pressed, we power on the LED. If it's not pressed, well, the LED is going to be turned off. And I don't want to just do that one time here when we run the program. I want to do it continuously. So I'm also going to use this while true loop, so an infinite loop. And I'm going to say simply if button dot is pressed, I'm going to put a colon. And if it's true, well, we do LED dot on. If it is not true, then I'm going to go back here. So if it's not true, it can only be false. So I'm going to put else and then LED dot off. Okay, and pay attention to the indentation here. The whole if is with one indentation because it's inside the while. But then, for example, that instruction has one indentation of 4 spaces plus an extra one. And now I can test my program. So let's just run it. Okay, it's running, so there's nothing printed here, but it's running. And I can just press on the push button. You see the LED is on. Now I release. Okay, and you can see when it's pressed, it's on. When it's released, it's off. On, off, etc. So that's working, and if you have written this code, well, you have solved the activity. But now I'm going to show you something additional. So actually 2 things. Let's start with the first one. And the first one is about optimizing the program a bit. And why do I care about optimizing here? Because I'm going to show you something. So while the program is running, you can go here and search for, it's going to be the task manager here. Okay, and let's wait that it initializes. Okay, and you can see we have here a command Python 3, so that's basically the program that's running. You can ignore the rest. And you can see that this Python 3 command is taking 25% of the CPU. And what does that mean? So actually on Raspberry Pi, here on the Raspberry Pi 5, I have 4 CPUs. And when you run a Python script, it's going to run using 1 CPU, unless you have a multi-threaded application, but that's like way more complex. And for now, it's just using 1 CPU. So when you see 25%, it means that the program is actually using the whole CPU. So a program as simple as this is using the whole CPU. Why is that? Why is that? Because, well, we have an infinite loop that just runs at full speed. And if it runs at full speed, it's basically, well, gonna run as fast as it can and use 100% of the resources of one CPU. So we want to avoid that for a few reasons. First, it's gonna make your Raspberry Pi heat more. So if you don't have any fan or anything to protect from the heat, well, it's gonna heat quite a lot. Not necessarily a problem, but, well, you don't want to have your Raspberry Pi too hot. And then, well, you are using one full CPU, so anything else that you run is going to be slower. And if there is an easy way to solve that, then we're gonna do it. Okay, so instead of running this full speed, we don't need to run this full speed. We could add a small delay, actually, between each iteration of the while loop. I'm gonna add, here I'm gonna import time. And what I can do is after I read the button, I'm gonna add, so I go back to this indentation, okay, after the if, time.sleep, and let's actually pause the program, but for a very short time, for example, 0.01 second. So that's very, very tiny. That's basically 10 milliseconds. So you will not see that, okay, when you run the program, you will not see any difference because we as human, we can't see a 10 millisecond difference in the program. So it's gonna do the exact same thing, but this loop is going to be running at a much, much slower speed, which is still high enough for this application. So now let's stop and let's run this again. Now you can press the push button again. This is going to be exactly the same thing, but if we have a look at our task manager again, so let's wait a few seconds for that initialization, and Python 3 is here, and now it's using 0, so not 0%, but 0 point something percent. So you see, we went from 100% of one CPU to something that's very, very, very tiny. Okay, so this improvement is actually quite important. If you run an infinite loop like this for a program that you run on Raspberry Pi, it's better if this loop is going to run at full speed, so the full CPU speed, it's better to slow it down a bit by adding here a time.sleep with a small amount. And basically this is 10 milliseconds, so it's 0.01 second. That means that you are going to run this at about 100 times per second. Okay, so that's still a lot. And we are talking here about, so if it's 100 times per second, we also talk about a loop that runs at 100 Hertz. So that's for the technical terms. And one thing is, maybe I'm gonna just put that at the beginning of the loop. It doesn't really change anything. Okay, I just put it at the beginning so that I don't forget it later if I have more code. And also, well, as I add code, maybe I'm gonna mess up the indentation for that. So here I make sure that it's at the beginning of the loop and it's gonna slow the loop. So we run it at 100 times per second. Great, let me stop that. And now I want to show you something else. So that's not related to optimization or anything. It's just that we are going to use another functionality from the gpiozero library to do actually the exact same thing. Okay, but the code is going to be much smaller, and that's the code we are going to use also for the next activity. So first, that was actually a very good practice for you to work on loops and conditions. Okay, so that's why I kept it like this. And now let's see how we can write this code differently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment that like this, comment, so we don't execute it. And there is, in fact, inside this button functionality, what we can do is just write button, so using this button here, dot when pressed is equal to, and then just give a function here. So for example, led.on. And note that we don't provide any parentheses. Okay, I'm gonna explain that just in 1 minute. So we can say that when the button is pressed, when pressed, we're gonna turn the LED on, and then we can also do button.when released, LED.off. And so this line is actually not gonna stop, it's just gonna register here this function and this one as well. So if we just run the program like this, well, it's gonna run and then it's gonna exit, so it's not gonna do anything. So we need to somehow pause the program. We need to find a way to pause the execution of the program. And for this, we can do from signal. So that's another library you can use. Import pause. You have the pause function from the signal library that we can just use at the end of our program here. Pause, like that, with parentheses. All right, so what we do here is we initialize the LED, the button, and then we say that when the button is pressed, we're gonna turn on the LED. When the button is released, we turn off the LED, and then we pause the program. And just to give you more details about this, well, this is what we can call a callback function. So to use a real life analogy, let's say that you need some information from somebody and they will tell you, okay, I will call you back when I have this information. So you give them your, for example, your phone number or your email. All right. So you we're going to talk about registering your phone number. So you register your phone number so that when they have this information, they can call you back using this phone number. Okay. So here there are two things. One is that there's an event that must happen and that is external. Okay. You don't really know when it's going to happen. It might happen at some point. And when this event is happening, you want to be called back. So you want to be notified of this. And that's exactly what's happening here. You see, we have this dot when pressed. So this is the external event when the button is pressed. But you don't know when the button is going to be pressed from the program. Okay, that's an external event. And so you register a callback, and the callback is led.on. So when the button is pressed, here is what to do, what to call. And we're going to call this function led.on. And just note, it's one particular thing about callbacks is that you don't provide the parentheses. Because if you provide the parentheses, you are calling the function right now. Here you are registering the function so it can be called later. So basically with this, you just register those two functions that they can be called when this event or that event is happening. And then you make sure you pause the program, because if you don't pause the program, well, it's just going to exit and nothing is going to happen. And now you can try to run this and it's going to be the exact same behavior as what we had before. All right, and you can see the code is much smaller. Actually, we don't even need the time library anymore. And if you look at, if we go back to the tasks manager here, you will see that, so this is running and, well, this is not using much CPU as well. Okay, so this code is already pretty much optimized. We don't need to add any time.sleep here. All right, that's the end of this episode. If you found it useful, you will definitely like my full complete course on Raspberry Pi named Raspberry Pi for Beginners. This course contains 10 hours of hands-on video lessons. You can find the link in the description. Thank you for watching. See you in the course or in the next tutorial of the series.